Hi guys, I've been going a little stir crazy studying and I'm studying at home today, which means that I have a whole kitchen beneath me and that means that I get to make myself dinner. And I was gonna make myself a lasagna and it's actually really easy and really tasty, so I figure I'll just gonna go ahead and film it. It has a lot of veggies in it and I have a really great tip for being very lazy and making lasagna. You don't have to boil your noodles and you don't even have to buy special lasagna noodles. We're just gonna go ahead and use the regular noodles and we're not gonna boil them and it's gonna be tasty. And I always make my lasagna like this, and I'm just going to show you how I do it because I think it's a really great tip. So pay attention. Alright, so I just quick wrote up all of the stuff you're going to want to get together to make this lasagna. So some of these are optional, and you can always add meat. I didn't have any meat in the house, so it's just going to be a veggie lasagna today. But we're going to have, obviously, our noodle layer, which is lasagna noodles. And that one's like, I mean, I'm just using regular lasagna noodles, and I'm not buying the special, no-boil ones. So I'm saving money by doing that. Zucchini layer, I'm also saving money there because I got the zucchini from my uncle's garden, but you might have to go get that at the store. I use a store-bought sauce, but I kind of stretch it out by using crushed tomatoes, which are cheaper and just as tasty. Some sauteed veggies, and I add extra garlic so that it's still really flavorful. And for the cheese layer, instead of using ricotta cheese, which a lot of people do, I like to use cottage cheese. It's also, again, cheaper, easier to find, and also gonna add an egg and just some seasoning in there. And of course, lots of layers of mozzarella because that makes us happy. We'll top it off with mozzarella. It makes it nice and pretty. And so I just kind of lined all of that up here for you guys so you could see what it all looks like. I keep most of these things in my pantry all the time. So the seasonings are obviously on hand. I usually have pasta sauce, mozzarella cheese in the house. So you might need to go grab some lasagna noodles and the veggies that you want to include. I got these mushrooms on sale recently, so that's part of why they're going in the lasagna today. But let's get cooking. Alright, so the first layer I'm going to put together is the cheese layer here. So I've got my cottage cheese standing by. Again, it sounds strange, but once you get it in and melty in the lasagna, you're not going to notice that you're using cottage cheese instead of ricotta cheese. First, start by cracking my egg, just because if I get any shell in this bowl, then I want to be able to find it and get it out right away. If I put everything else in and put the egg last, then it can be hard to get any little shell pieces back out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get probably about half of this cottage cheese in there. If you guys aren't big cottage cheese fans, remember it's not gonna taste like cottage cheese. It's gonna get melty in all of the layers of the lasagna, and you're gonna hide it and never know that it's in there. It's naturally pretty salty, so I probably won't even be adding salt to this. And I just kind of eyeball it, depends on how much you want. A little bit of black pepper in there. No salt because the cottage cheese is pretty salty as it is. I like a little bit of heat, so I'll get some chili flakes in there. These are also going to go in my sauce, but they're totally optional. These are some basil leaves, more of an Italian flavor, and then parsley flakes. I don't know, I use these because every other recipe puts parsley flakes in their ricotta cheese mixture for lasagna. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'll humor them. I have it in my pantry. I'll put some parsley flakes in my mixture. And then just go ahead and mix everybody together. You can kind of see how this is coming together. The next layer I'm going to work on is the zucchini layer. So I've got this big zucchini here. I guess you can see from my hand exactly how big it is. If you're confident in your knife skills, you can go ahead and cut thin sheets of these. I find it a little easier and I don't have to pay as close of attention by using a vegetable peeler, and I'll just go by like this. If you also have a mandolin, that makes it super easy, but we're just looking for long strips of zucchini. So I had to put the camera down to actually peel / slice the zucchini, but just so you guys have an update on how it's going, this is kind of the little pieces that you're gonna get. So I'm almost done with my zucchini and my roommate came home to hold the camera for me. So although I'm 99% done, you can see a little bit of me slicing. We're just left with this couple little slices. But basically what I do is take the peeler, and it's kind of tricky at this point, but you're just gonna get these thin sheets. Some of them are gonna be wider than others, fatter, back and forth. Some of them are gonna be shorter. Zucchini is mostly water. Yeah, that's the end of it. It's mostly water, which is great because we're not cooking our lasagna noodles ahead of time. We're just putting them in the pan and baking it right in the oven. And what we want is all the water from the sauce and all of the water that's gonna leave these zucchini to go into the lasagna noodles and cook them while they're baking so that I don't have to boil them ahead of time. And hopefully you guys can see this, maybe some better lighting, but I'm gonna get some chopped up mushrooms and onions in the pan. The onions I think are mandatory because they add a lot of flavor, but the mushrooms are on sale, so they're just going in there too. You can probably save yourself some time and not saute them up ahead of time and just let them cook in the lasagna, but this makes my house smell really good, and it makes me feel happy to saute onions. Alright, now that the onions are translucent, you guys probably can't see that super well. The mushrooms are brown, they've shrunken up, and my house smells really good, and so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of our sauce. So I've got these big can of crushed tomatoes. You don't use cubed tomatoes. Sometimes they come with like Italian seasoning in them. That would probably be a good choice. And also what's left of this can that I had going of just like store brand pasta sauce. And like I mentioned before, I didn't want to waste my zucchini guts. I'm just going to get those in there and stir this all together and just let it cook for a little while longer. So that gets nice and flavorful. And this is essentially the liquid that we're using to cook our lasagna noodles in. Yeah, so we're not pre-boiling the lasagna noodles, but since we made enough sauce, that sauce is going to be the liquid that gets soaked up by the lasagna and cooks it and makes it tasty and probably more flavorful because it's just getting nice tomato juice instead of like boring water. So just letting that kind of go for another minute or so, and then we'll start layering everything up. Now that we have assembled all of our individual layers, or we've prepared them, we're going to assemble them in the pan. And so I'm going to be alternating layers of noodles and zucchini noodles, the flat ones, because the liquid coming out of these is going to help cook these. You can feel free to just use zucchini noodles if you want to be like super healthy. In general, I think that this makes the pasta a little more filling and kind of makes it sturdier, so I'm going to be alternating. And I always like to start with a layer of sauce on the bottom first, just to keep the noodles from sticking, and also that's the liquid that we're cooking them in. And then just repeat until the pan is all the way full. So now that it's in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of clean up some of my kitchen here and tidy it back up since I made a little bit of a mess, and do some more studying, and I'll check back on it probably I'll give it a half hour and check and see if it needs any more. That's what I'll do. I'm winging it. Well, I did a little price breakdown in case anybody was curious about that. I used half a box of lasagna noodles, so it was about $1. I got my zucchini for free, like I said, out of my uncle's garden, but that's a fairly affordable vegetable at the grocery store. I used most of a jar of pasta sauce, 1 large can of crushed tomatoes, a sauteed onion, that should say 15 cents, not $15. The mushrooms I bought on sale for 89 cents, that was a really good sale, that's why I picked them up. I already used a couple of them in a pizza earlier, so about 75 cents worth of mushrooms, plus some extra garlic, cottage cheese. I used half of a jar of that was also on sale, so 90 cents worth of cottage cheese. If my math is correct, $4.90, and you'll see when it comes out, it's going to make at least 8 servings, so it's well under $1 per serving of a really tasty, hearty meal. Alright, so it's been about 35 minutes in the oven at 350. I just took out to look at it, and I think we're right about there. You can see a couple of these noodles on the side, and those are nice and soft, which is making me think that everybody in there is probably cooked through. I'm going to throw it back in the oven topless for the next 5 minutes or so, just to get like a golden crust on the top. Alright, so I think it looks good. I think it smells good. I was gonna do like a reaction, like a taste test for you, but I would obviously just say that I like it. Oh, there's all our cookbooks. My inspiration back there. So I grabbed a little piece for my roommate / camera woman, Sadie. As a reward for studying hard and helping with my video, I got you some lasagna.
Thank you very
Cover
much.
the camera.
This is very exciting. I've been watching the steps this whole evening. Gotta get all the pieces in here. my god, it's really good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, there's gonna be leftovers in the fridge. Alright, well thanks for watching. I hope you're gonna try out this lasagna and you'll never boil another lasagna noodle again. I'm glad to have spared you from that. Leave a comment below if you have any thoughts on this video and subscribe if you want to see more like this. I'll see you back in my kitchen at some point. Oh, I can already see like tomato sauce on my phone. Okay. Sadie is laughing with excitement. This lasagna makes her so happy.
It's just so beautiful.